Hey guys, this is MattiAce and I'm coming at you here with another NC video. This is from the server Miller. I'm going to mix this video up between Reaver gameplay, which is going to be the first part of the video, about the first 6 minutes, and the rest of it's going to be heavy assault. I'm going to use the Gauss saw, the default light machine gun of the new conglomerate. So I've been playing NC a bit on Miller lately, and I have a couple of goals with it. First of all, I wanted to Arexium the air hammer on my, this is actually my main character, at least this is how I started playing Planetside 2. And I actually have the Arexium medal for the air hammer on my Bad Boy Blue character on Cobalt, but I just recently got it here also on Miller. Now the weapon I'm using here is the Vortek Rotary, the main air-to-air nose gun. And yeah, it's a beast at close range. And a lot of people have asked me to show you some gameplay with it, so this is the first part of that. There's more coming. I have a little bit more recorded, so yeah, I'll make at least 1 or 2 more videos using this weapon. So now, unlike the way I normally play air-to-air with any ESF, with the Reaver, with the air hammer and the Vortek Rotary, I prefer to get close, and yeah, well, that goes with for all experienced pilots who fly the Reaver. The Reaver, it's only the Kestrel, I think it's called, and the default gun that is useful at longer range. Now, even if the Vortek Rotary does suffer a little bit at range, it quickly makes up for it the moment you are able to close in the gap. And leading with the Vortek Rotary is something that a lot of players are a bit uncomfortable with, and I agree with that. I don't think it's all that useful at the ranges, and there are a lot of different reasons why, but one of the reasons that I want to point out is because you have such a small magazine, so by the time that you know where your bullets go and you want to readjust your aim, you have to reload, and yeah, that's a bit of a problem. So yeah, this is the main reason why I started playing NC here on Miller again, the air hammer, and I've been farming quite a bit like this, and a lot of people have been a bit unhappy with it. I understand it's not all that fun to die to this all the time, but I have the Arexium now, so maybe I'll slow down with the air hammer a bit from now on. Now the farming here is mainly just context. I'll be attacked by a couple of sites here, at least one of them have coyotes, and you'll see me use the air hammer for air to air instead.
Visual on a mosquito. Visual on hostile light assault trooper.
Now I'm not sure if you noticed, but even with the air hammer, when you're fighting in air-to-air combat, you actually have to lead quite a bit in a lot of situations, and a lot of people might be a bit uncomfortable with that because, you know, the air hammer, it's a close-range weapon and it's a shotgun, and you expect not to lead with that kind of a weapon, but you actually have to. So yeah, something that you may want to pay attention to if this is a weapon that you're interested in. Yeah, there was quite a bit of ganking going on, and I was a little bit suspicious when I saw these sites hovering like this, watching me, and I kind of got the impression that they were just looking for a good opportunity to catch me off guard. Now, when I spawn a Reaver with the air hammer, I do so because I'm going to focus on air to ground, even though you see quite a bit of air to air in my videos. But that's not the reason why I spawned it. And there are situations where the air hammer is quite good for air-to-air, but it's very situational, and I really don't like fighting sites with it. It's one thing to gank another ESF, but fighting them head-on or fighting somebody who's actually shooting back, the air hammer really isn't all that good. So now the reason why I don't want to leave this tower is because I do have some anti-air support here, and if there are too many and I just can't handle it, then I might be able to bail out and get into one of those anti-air turrets myself. I've been able to finish off a couple of ESFs that way on rare occasions. See, I was hoping that the side would ram into my Reaver there, but it didn't happen. Anyway, from now on it will be infantry, it will be heavy assault, and I will be using the default LMG of the new conglomerate. It's called the Gauss saw. And I gotta admit that this weapon is a little bit tricky to handle compared to the weapons that I'm used to. So I'll probably need a couple of 100 kills more with this weapon, since there's been such a long time since I used it, before I get the hang of this weapon again, at least when it comes to ranges past 50 meters. And the fact is that this weapon is actually really good for those ranges. Maybe this is actually one of the best weapons for longer mid-range out of all the LMGs, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, just need to get the hang of it, and you'll probably see me do a lot better in the future. So unfortunately there was a lot of good moments in this fight that I missed. I had a couple of really good fights against, especially one Vanu player. The problem is that when I'm fighting, I'm focusing at the game. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to use the videos for. And I had no idea this was going to be a long fight and such an interesting fight, because if I knew that when I started, then I would of course recorded all of it. But by the time I knew that this was a good fight and this was a long fight, well then a lot of time had already passed, and then it's too late. I only record about 3-minute clips, so yeah, that's it makes it easier to handle that way. So I have the forward grip, and I have high velocity ammo, and the compensator, which is the way I equip my carbines also, mostly, or all the mid-range carbines anyway. And it works really well with the Gauss, I think, but when I first started using it, I didn't have all these attachments, and maybe that is why I didn't like this weapon when I first initially started using it. It probably also has been changed a bit over the 2 years that the game has been out. So basically what this fight was all about, or at least my part of this fight, was us fighting Vanu over the B point here. Now there is an equal amount of Terran here as well. This is a 3-way fight, but I never had any part of the fights over C or A. And this fight started long before I joined in, and it was still going when I left it. So here are a couple of close range encounters. I could barely see my opponent there through the bushes, and here I get really surprised that there are 2 Vanu players right here in the middle of all the NC players. Or maybe I just thought that I had my teammates with me as I was pushing forward. Now that rocket launcher was actually intended for the Max, this one that comes and kills me here. The guy that I killed there with the rocket launcher, I had some really good fights with him, and he did really good in this fight. Maybe he's a really good player, or maybe he just had a good moment. I can't tell, I don't recognize his name, but yeah, he post-commented he wanted to see this fight. And if you're watching this video, I'm really sorry that I couldn't find the fights where we were trading and where I know we killed each other a number of times, but unfortunately I couldn't find those files.
I'll get you fixed up. Could use a medic here.
Visual on hostile thunderer.
So now the weapons that I'm planning on our Rexium is this one, the Gauss, and the EM6, I think it's called. So as from that, I want to, let me see, I want to get the Rexium for the Racer GD23. I want to also the GD7F, which is the close range carbine that I've chosen, and it's not really my playstyle, but yeah, I have it, and I've got a couple of hundred kills with it, so I'll just finish with that one. And then my least favorite Rexium is probably going to be the MattiAce. I've spent like 3,500 serfs into those weapons, and yeah, it's going to be my least favorite NC Rexium, I guess. I'm not a big fan of Maxes. Anyway, that's going to be all for this video. There are a couple of more minutes left. I hope you will enjoy it, so I will say thank you all for watching, and bye for now.
Let me heal you. spot.
Yo, engineers, get this max fixed up.
Just saw it today.